Hello and welcome back to the IT 360 Advisor podcast. We are bringing Todd back, who was our VP of Development, to discuss something that is close to home for him. I know we talked about cybersecurity during Cybersecurity Month in October, and that was specific to businesses and how they should protect themselves. But Todd has another security issue to talk about. Todd, can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Well, first, Jason, thanks for having me as your guest. You know, I really like where these podcasts are going. I think you did a great job in October.
Thank you.
And excited to see where these go this year. So what I want to talk about is kind of the rampant unemployment fraud that's related to the pandemic unemployment assistance program. It's occurring all over the country. As a matter of fact, I just saw a story today that 9 inmates in a halfway house in California, they were working with an employee of the Employment Development Department, which I believe is very similar to our, in Illinois, the Department of Employment Security. But they were working to commit fraud, and they received over $160,000 in benefits. So you're talking about inmates in prison. And they were actually part of a larger pool, and there's an investigation going on. But just in California alone, these inmates have defrauded up to $2 billion.
Sounds like an episode of Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and you're in Indiana, we're in Illinois, and there's no exceptions there, right? Several people, including myself, were victims of this fraud. So to kind of lay out what happens, if, you know, for those listeners that have no idea that this is going on or aren't sure how it works. So I received a letter. My employee received the letter, or excuse me, my employer received the letter, basically saying that I had submitted an unemployment claim. And I received a letter saying the same, that my debit card was on its way.
So they're reaching out to the employee and also the employer.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, the state, because as I supposedly submit the unemployment claim, you know, the employer is getting a letter from the state as well. It's kind of a verification, a little bit of a checks and balances. But so the employer got, IT 360 got the letter. I got a separate letter, and I actually ended up getting 3 letters. One that was stating that I had a debit card coming with a substantial amount of money attached to it. Then I received another stating that my claim was under investigation, and I was scheduled to do a phone interview, which the funny part about that is I received the letter after the interview was scheduled or was to take place. So, that triggered a denial because I didn't even have the interview. And that investigation was open because my employer had denied the claim.
So, I mean, they're actually going through the unemployment, it's not a fake phantom unemployment office that's sending these letters out. Someone's going into the Department of Unemployment, filing in your behalf an unemployment claim, which with you have no idea what's going on, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And this is all due to COVID, because obviously there's a pool of money there for those that are unemployed because of COVID. So I can tell you there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through for this. I had to place a call to the Illinois Department of Employment Security, or Services it is. And then it took a week for them to get back to me. I had 2 calls about the same case after they did get back to me. And in the end, it was suspended. They didn't send me the card, the debit card, but there's a number of other steps. You have to go register with the federal government, and they have their own steps to go through, and you got to freeze your credit. So again, needless to say, there was a lot of hoops to jump through, and it wasn't as if it was probably as easy as I'm making it out to be, but it took a little bit of time, obviously, and a lot of frustration.
So, okay, this is my curiosity brings us up. Luckily, you're stand-up citizen and you're like, this is not right. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there, the timing of Christmas and needing extra money is probably tempting to some people to probably follow through with this. So if the company denies the claim, but did they already send the debit cards out with the money on? I mean, I'm just kind of curious to figure out, for one, how are the scammers making money from this? And two is, with all the checks and balances, I'm sure that something's going to fall through the cracks, and someone's going to collect unemployment who's still employed. But I'm just trying to figure out, how are they making money from these?
Well, that's a great question. That's the one everybody wants answered, right? How do they make money if it's coming to me? And really, they're cashing in a couple of ways. What they're doing, the scammer or scammers, they're having money sent to an account that they own, for example, might be a temporary account, or as I said, it was a debit card that was to be sent to me. And so if it were to be sent to me, what they turn around and do is they contact me pretending to be from the unemployment office and say that they'd like it's, and that's done either by a text or an email or possibly a phone call or even through social media. But they're saying, hey, can you send that card to us? We know that it's fraudulent and we appreciate everything. Send it to us. We'll take care of it from there. Well, a lot of people are trusting that. And yeah, I don't know too many organizations that are going to text you or send out something through Facebook, for example. But
yeah, I think it goes back to October when we were talking about cybersecurity in October, just for businesses. If you have any doubt, place a phone call. If there's anything just make a phone call. That you can't scam phone calls. You probably could if they have the phone number on there. But yeah. Go to the websites, find the right phone numbers, and call somebody if you have any inkling that something's a little suspicious.
And that is key. Obviously, if you get a letter and it tells you to send the card into a specific address or even a text, and as you said, go to the website. Don't rely on what you see on paper. Look it up. Look up what the actual phone number is.
So, is there any other way to protect yourself from being victimized? We just talked about, not believing what you're reading on some of these. Look up the internet, look at the website, and call them that way. But is there any other ways of doing this?
I wish I could throw out a guaranteed way to do it. And while it's may not be possible to prevent it from happening to you, there are some precautions you can take. And first thing I would recommend if this does happen, immediately contact the 3 credit agencies and put a freeze on your credit. Realistically, in this day and age, you should probably be doing that anyway. But also pay close attention to your credit reports. A lot of people, they don't really check their credit reports very often, but it's a good idea to do it, maybe even quarterly, just to make sure there haven't been any accounts that have been opened that you're not aware of. And finally, if you are scammed, take care of it immediately, because the steps that I talked about happened over a few weeks. So it's not as if I'm going to do all these things today. I wish the government moved that quickly, but a lot of times they don't. And quite frankly, there is so much of this going on that I don't think that, it's difficult for them to get through all this quickly. So, and the longer you wait, the more damage that can occur.
Yeah, it's like you said, if we had 4 employees with our company, imagine how many more people there are out there that this is happening to, and dealing with government agencies is difficult anyway, and then all of a sudden you're throwing additional issues in, it's going to take a lot more time. And that's the other thing, besides possible credit damage and fraud, it's your time. Our time is very valuable these days, and that being taken away, I am sure, you explained well how many of the steps you had to go through, but I'm sure that it was a substantial amount of your time that you'd rather be spending somewhere else.
Well, absolutely. And unfortunately, it's something that has to be treated as an emergency. It's not something that once you find out, you say, well, I'll look at putting that on my calendar for Thursday. It's
that's
absolutely
scary. So, well, hey, Todd, that looks like a good place for us to stop right there. I appreciate it. Hopefully this is helpful to everyone out there. Keep an eye on that. And I think I like what Todd said is, if you are scammed, that's either, with your business or personal, and handle it immediately. So, hey, I appreciate your time and look forward to speaking to you guys later. Bye.